Objection! Hello everybody, Zachman18 here. Welcome back to the next session for Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations on the WiiWare service. We are continuing on with the second case, the stolen turnabout. Well, now it's kind of the murder turnabout because we've already pretty much almost solved the thief part of the case, and now we're starting to talk about the murder case for the KB security guy, Kane Bullard. So without further ado, let's see if we can finish this up. Second part of trial. And you guys might not be able to hear what see some of the text because of just the big sun glare. It'll probably go away in a little bit. So here we go. Sorry guys, my voice, I just got up recently.
Hi sis?
I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice.
So then she's still alive.
And sorry.
Inside your house?
Naked boy. Oh, Mr. White. Is it true that detective is the real killer? To be honest, we don't have any definite proof. But he's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at Lolita that night?
Not to mention, we don't...
Alright, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Atmey want to kill Kane Bullard? Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof, and it's gotta happen sooner rather than later. Alright. Here we go.
Now then, this court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atmey, please take the stand.
Well, well, how do you do, sir lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly.
I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet, not when it would have given you your perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Nasty Mask.
I'm sorry, I'm afraid even the great Luke Atmey has no idea what you mean. Of course, I have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could know what's been going on in here.
You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Nasty Mask?
Indeed, it's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example.
So you continue to insist that you are in fact Nasty Mask?
Of course.
Very well then, Luke Atmey, let us begin with this simple question. On October 12th at 1 a.m., Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time?
One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge.
Thanks.
Oh boy. Alright, Mr. Atmey. The night of the murder. Speak. We're listening.
As you wish, Sir Prosecutor.
Alright, here we go.
I was stealing the earnest Nasty Mask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera to capture Nasty Mask was the same time as the murder.
It seems the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene.
Everything else up until now is all part of his plan. There has to be a secret of this picture as well.
Even the great Nasty Mask cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive.
Unfortunately, Mr. Atmey, we still have to do your cross-examination.
A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool.
I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick.
The only thing that's full of it is his alibi. Here we go. So this photograph is the proof, correct?
Indeed it is. And the man in the photo is certainly wearing a mask. That is why I am called Nasty Mask.
But conveniently, that also means that there is no way to tell who this really is.
What do you mean?
Objection!
Ha! Are you saying that this is not, in fact, Luke Atmey? That it could be an accomplice dressed up as Nasty Mask to create an alibi?
Oh, what an interesting idea. Are you saying that I, Lone Wolf Luke, are an accomplice?
No, there's really no one on here that could be his accomplice, so... If Luke Atmey was at KB Security doing the murder, then the Nasty Mask in this picture has to be a fake. Oh my god. Then there really was an accomplice. But right now I have no idea who it was.
I don't have any idea right now either. Baseless objections are just...
Oh, God, sorry. Basic objections are just what that guy wants. There's got to be another way, and I'm going to find it. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point.
That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken.
You sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right?
Indeed, there was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my legless target.
I see. You truly are evil, aren't you?
Yes, evil is what I am.
Hey Nick, isn't there something odd about this? Detective Atmey was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor,
while I was the only one watching it, he had no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona.
You know, that's true. It is kind of odd. So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here. Is that correct?
Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime.
The very thing that proves you committed the crime. When you think about it, it's really odd. You say that almost as if you had this picture taken on purpose.
He was simply caught by the very camera that he set up. We all have days like that. Indeed, it turned out that there was no such thing as the perfect crimes after all. Life is truly an ironic thing, a sad blue melody.
Looks like I better gather more information for now. If he's truly the killer, there's gotta be something phony in that photo. About the camera that took this photograph.
Oh, come now, it's all too clear what you're thinking. Huh? You think I altered the time step on the photograph, don't you?
I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lordly Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lordly Taylor's staff that printed that picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered.
I see.
Looks like I'd better find something else that could be suspicious.
So is that alibi his false?
It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullet at KB Security.
But I'm not really spotting anything unusual.
There are two possibilities. Either the nasty mask in the photo is a fake, or the photo itself is. Alright, so sometimes if we can't really find anything contradictory, we can just press some stuff again and see what happens. So I'll just keep pressing some of these. And if that doesn't work, then we need to present something, obviously. Okay, that didn't work. Oh, here we go. So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here, is that correct?
Indeed it is, that is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime.
The very thing that proves you committed the crime.
Surely even you understand by now. Lordly Taylor provided that camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed Kane Bullard unless I had an accomplice.
Come on, think long and hard about that night. The basement warehouse and this picture that supposedly captures it. It's gotta be here. Isn't there something funny about this picture? Alright, so I want to look through my evidence here.
Are you implying that this picture is a fake?
You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night before the theft took place, and there's something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night. Oh, it's the paint! The paint was not knocked over during the night.
Very well, let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny?
The paint on the ground. The funny part is right here.
Why, this is a blood stain. Ah, blood. Now this case is getting interesting.
Not exactly. This stain is actually pink paint.
Oh, just paint. And peach colored at that.
From blood to peaches, the judge sure loves going on his wild tangents. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse, it turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen.
Well, Mr. Wright, what is supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains?
He's got the box with him. shadow of Amy Faye. Oh, so that's gotta be it. That was found in her statue, it's gotta be that. The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following.
Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime, around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it.
I myself was there the night the theft took place, and saw the statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue should have been there.
But when I went there the day after the theft, that statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner.
Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally.
Your Honor, the statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It would take more than an accidental push to move it that distance.
Ha! In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why that statue was moved that night?
Can you do it, Nick?
Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it?
Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you are prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime?
Was she there that night? Oh, it doesn't say that. It's either got to be Adrian or Luke. I'm pretty sure it's Luke, because he's saying that he's Masty Mask, so he must have moved it. The one who moved the statue is none other than Luke Atmey.
Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions.
Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions?
It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night.
That is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue?
The reason for moving the golden statue, here's where our battle really begins.
Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move that statue?
The reason can be found here in this photograph. Luke Atmey, you pretended to be Masty Mask to create an alibi by showing you were at Lordly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. Alright. I want to look over my evidence again. 102. That is why you moved the statue.
A single fatal flaw?
Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. Just where in this picture does this lie exist? So wait, he said that the time that he took the urn was the same time as the murder, and the murder was at 102, but this time counter over here says it was 0:58, so that must mean 12:58. So I'm thinking maybe this is it, so let's try this. And if not, I have no idea. Naturally, the lie in this photo is the timestamp.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Luke Atmey went to KB Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lordly Taylor at this time.
But what does that have to do with the statue being moved?
Remember, if you will, Your Honor, when was this statue placed beside the warehouse door?
Well,
the statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime, and it was placed there in order to cover up the paint. Exactly. Luke Atmey had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim, and so in order to create an alibi for that time, he took this picture days before the murder took place. What the? Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet. So on the day of the crime, Mr. Atmey must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Luke Atmey had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make the room match with the way it had been in his photo. Ugh.
Order. Mr. Atmey, is this true?
One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this?
What's that?
The data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera did indeed go off on the night of the crime.
It's true that the camera had been set up by the Lordly Taylor staff. However, the program used to manage that data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data.
Order! Mr. Goda, what is the meaning of this?
Oh boy.
Goda, I warned you about making me wait. Now put that coffee down.
My 11th cup. I promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial, which means I'm still good till the last drop.
However, the defense is a very good point.
A good point? So what? We are all but travelers on a road of infinite points.
I think you got your points mixed up with your other points.
So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time, and that the statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied, which is that it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams.
That's very true.
No way! Don't fall for that, Your Honor.
Hey, Mr. Damask. Yes? If there's no funny business in your actions as Master Mask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So let's hear it.
Yes, please provide this quote with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn.
Alright, so usually on this second one, we usually find one, so let's try to look for one in this.
I first received the request from Lowly Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box in body. It was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn
For myself until the day of the crime.
I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I saw my card 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hand for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th.
That's pretty much all stuff we've heard before, isn't it?
Yeah, but we will find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information you gave.
Witness, you're sure there are no mistakes this time?
Vade.
Very well then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Alright, so here's what I was really confused by, and I want to check my thing about here. He said on this third statement that he was unable to see the urn for himself until the day of the crime. If he's Master Mask and he laid a calling card, he sent it before the heist, so he has to know what it looks like. And he knows what it looks like, because he wrote the letter and it says, "Take good care of the speckled urn." So that's gotta be it. Objection! Because that's what I remember hearing the information about. Mr. Atmey, if you really are Master Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct?
But of course. Is there a problem with that calling card?
Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Master Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now the speckled here surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn.
Yes, that is true. But so what?
Truth be told, there is no way that Master Mask could have known about this pattern.
What do you mean?
This pink spotted pattern on this urn is actually nothing more than paint stains.
Paint stains?
And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordly Taylor.
Ugh. I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Trite.
The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error, or should I say an error-prone human. And that's when the paint got on the urn.
Ugh, you can't be serious.
And yet this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means Detective Atmey had seen this urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water.
What the heck was that? Wag, wag.
Alright.
Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself?
Alright, that did it. He's broken.
Nick, I think it's still a little early for a victory pose.
Huh? Oh no.
Ha! It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days.
Conviction, you say?
Yesterday we all decided unanimously that the man was Master Mask, and now we're calling him a murderer. You don't think we're being a tad fickle?
That's a good point.
No way, don't fall for that too, Your Honor.
You say that Luke Atmey was the one who killed Kane Bullard? Then let me ask you this. Why would he do that?
An excellent point. Motive, Mr. Wright. Motive. Might you my merry murderous motive manifest?
Nick, he's getting a second win.
If you prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on Ronda Light, as you say, you must have had a very strong, what does that say, strong motive for murder.
The only one with any motive we've seen is Ronda Light. Isn't that right, Detective? Indeed. According to my own research, that boy's motive is clear.
Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt on a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us to what the defendant's motives were.
Thank you, sir, old-timer.
They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. Okay.
I look at me. Had no point of contact with the victim whatsoever. K. Buller decided to investigate. Nasty Mask simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ronda Light. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Light for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Nasty Mask. That is why Mr. Delight sought fit to kill K. Bullard. Truly a tragedy.
I think I noticed something. I'm not sure though.
So the victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant?
This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. A handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter. What?
Very well, Mr. Wright. Begin your cross-examination.
So, I want to look at that blackmail letter again. Because if we just updated it, that's got to be what we have to press in this. So let's take a strong look at it. Written by Bullard, found in Ronda Light's room. If you don't want your true identity revealed to the world, come to KB Security at 1 a.m. and talk October 12th, free 50,000. If you don't take that red diamond. Oh, wait a second. He has that red diamond on his ring finger right now. So, okay, so that's got to be what we have to present. Okay, which one do I press it on? Present it on? That's it. He didn't send it to Ronda Light, he sent it to him. He meant to send it to him, but it actually got to Ron. That has to be it. He has that red diamond on his ring finger right now. Objection! Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atmey?
Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's alright.
When you said that this letter was addressed to Ronda Light, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. I want to look at my... Oh, hold on a second. I want to see what else is in here before we continue on, because we might have to present something to prove it. Check this out. Precious gem, the tear of Emanon. That could have something to do with it. What else could have something to do with it? Testimony. Student restricted. That could be something too. So, alright, here we go.
Contradiction?
I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that. You're one to talk. At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior?
Indeed, time to man up, Mr. Wright. Show us the contradicting evidence in this content of the blackmail letter.
Okay, so it's either the blackmail letter or the testimony, Ron's testimony. So we'll do the clipping first, and if that doesn't work, it's got to be the testimony. Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. It contains a picture of the tear of Emanon, the stolen jewel.
What about it?
The problem is this jewel's color.
Color?
I'm not much for discussing color myself. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day.
Red?
Which means the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the tear of Emanon that Nasty Mask stole at all.
Objection!
And your point is, Mr. Trite? So you are trying to say that this blackmail letter was intended for someone else. That is what you're trying to say, right, Trite?
That is what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright?
Oh, that's what you're trying to say, right, Nick?
Yes. This is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. We already just talked about it. It has to be Luke Atmey. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atmey.
Do you have some sort of basis for that claim?
You've been personally involved in every single Nasty Mask case. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen and received a jewel as your reward.
A jewel?
Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring! That is the diamond referred to in the letter, which means that Kane Bullard wrote that letter in order to blackmail you! Only he didn't wear that ring. He's such an idiot.
Order in the court. Order, I say.
Objection!
It seems you've gotten too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Trite.
Uh-oh. I don't like this. I don't like the way he said that.
Cane Bullet blackmailing Luke Atmey? Are you for real?
Yes, I am.
Nick, come on, stand up to him.
Then answer me this. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world.
Yes, it certainly does.
Cane Bullet threatened to make Luke Atmey's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep a secret. So just what was that identity?
Atmey killed Cane Bullet because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret?
This is what it all comes down to, Nick.
The identity that Luke Atmey wanted to so desperately keep secret was an identity as... It's gotta be Masty Mask. Luke Atmey was Masty Mask! What?
That's my line.
Ah, crap, did I choose the wrong one? Okay, I need to... Dang it!
The witness pretended to be the Masty Mask in order to...
Oh, wow, I'm an idiot. Alright, shut up, I'll do it again, I'll do it again! Crap, I lost some... Alright, I got it. I'll try thinking about this again. Okay, so it's gotta be... I'm so stupid. I don't know why I even thought that. Blackmailer. Luke Atmey was a blackmailer!
Objection!
Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Cane Bullet was the one blackmailing Luke Atmey. Are you saying that Atmey was blackmailing someone else on top of that?
You have to admit that does sound a little odd.
It's not odd, it's the only thing that makes any sense. Cane Bullet was blackmailing Luke Atmey. But Ron DeLight was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So did you start to receive blackmail letters starting after this incident?
Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Emanon heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from some very kind person, incredibly detailed plans.
Detailed plans? In which case that would mean that Ron DeLight was actually Masty Mask.
That is what we are claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. DeLight steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke Atmey.
Shh! Silence! Now I see. It's all becoming clear.
What is?
When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Carrots with a tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong?
How did you...
You say that I, Luke Atmey, was blackmailing Ron DeLight, in which case I would naturally know all about his relation to Masty Mask.
Well, yes.
Ron DeLight started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed that first crime.
Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise.
In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence.
During the first crime, how did Luke Atmey know that Ron DeLight was Masty Mask? How did Luke Atmey know that Ron DeLight was Masty Mask? Garden photo is Ron DeLight. So, Ron DeLight was, yeah, he was disguising himself, and he was disguising himself as Masty Mask, so that's gotta be it. I think I see it.
See what?
When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention.
What do you mean?
This newspaper clipping. It has a picture of you and Ron DeLight in his guard uniform. It seems that Masty Mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket.
That sounds far too stupid to be true.
Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Atmey. That's when you learned that under his mask, Masty Mask was really Ron DeLight. The audience. What the? Wasn't he supposed to be Masty Mask? Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective. I can't believe it. He was just a slimy blackmailer. What a fraud. Trying to pass himself off as an ace detective.
How dare you expose me like that? Why, I mean, I never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous and flawless detective, and I'm also Masty Mask. Why can't you understand that?
I'm afraid you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity!
Why, you... How dare you...
I'm not even gonna try.
You're just jealous. Don't come describe me. There's another regret that we can handle. Murder. First, I'm gonna wait there. Ah, it's enough to make one laugh.
I think we did it.
It would seem we finally gotten to the real answer.
That was quite a performance by Mr. Atmey.
Bailiff, please prepare yourself for Mr. Atmey.
Objection!
Oh no!
Almost forgot about him.
The hammer that strikes too fast has no time to aim. What do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my sentence.
Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge.
You don't get much more in your face than that.
It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Trite. Where do you... It's true that you've proven a lot of things. Things like Luke Atmey was a filthy blackmailer. And that he wasn't at Lordly Taylor the night of the murder. That's right, that's why he's the one who killed Mr. Bolt. But... there's still one thing you have yet to prove.
What's that?
Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB Security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered. No way!
Order in the court. Well, Mr. Wright?
This is it. This is the final round. I've got to prove that Atmey was at Mr. Bullard's office on that night.
But can you really prove that?
No, because, well, not really, because, you know, he was in, he had to be in either the basement warehouse or KB Security, so I'm not sure if I can. That's long enough, Mr. Trite. I want to hear your answer. That night, Luke Atmey was at KB Security, and the defense... Can we prove it? I'm gonna say no, and we still have some life left, so, and I would rather risk not presenting than actually presenting and lose even more. I can't prove it.
Just as I thought.
But, if we hear more of Detective Atmey's testimony...
Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Trite.
What do you mean?
I won't allow for any more testimony, that's what I mean.
What?
Have you forgotten? Luke Atmey is here after we interrupted his own trial, and you have failed to prove that he had committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as Masty Mask.
No!
Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Masty Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Roger Wright will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness.
Order the court. That's enough deliberation of this witness.
I can't believe this. At this rate, Ron is...
We'll give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence and...
By then, it'll be too late. Yeah, because this is the final day, day 3.
Oh, why?
Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law.
Double jeopardy?
Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, that defendant can try it again for the same crime. This is a fundamental rule of all courts. And it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else.
Mr. Atmey will be guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as Masty Mask, which means...
You will be innocent as far as the murder of Kane Bullitt is concerned.
No way!
The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Atmey's guilt of that crime here means that he will never again be tried as Kane Bullitt's murderer.
Ah! Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. They're carrying this out. That was the right decision. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer, Luke Atmey, will go free.
You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today, and as long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there will be no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections?
hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Atmey.
Objection!
Boom! Oh my God, who is that? I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result. It's shocking.
How did you...
It sounded like a girl when she said objection. Phoenix, raise your head up. It's me. Yeah. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? The lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. That voice. No way! Booyah! Long time no see, Phoenix. Mia! This is the true power of the Curian channeling technique. I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now she's my mentor, Mia Fey. Now let's do this. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine. Not yet. The testimony's not over yet. What do you mean? Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today.
Yes, that's true, but...
Unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks.
Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as well the lights will verify that he is a true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness.
Yes, but these comments appear to have no importance whatsoever.
Very well, then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we the defense assert our right to question them. Is that alright with you, prosecutor?
Is something the matter, Mr. Gronot?
Nothing.
Oh, Sir Lawyer, looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me, look at...
Let's hear it.
Huh?
It's true that the witness made some remarks, so then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination. Just go ahead and save here. Just in case, you never know. I always like to save every so often on the trial.
Mr. Godot, what do you...
Very well then, Luke Atmey. I'll allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks.
The defense would like to hear why you declare the defendant to be the true murderer.
So please, give us one last bit of testimony.
Just in case, I don't know. Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief. Like, absolute last chance to, like... present? Are you serious?
Indeed, it is true that I was not a lowly tailor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph ready. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Ron the Light. And thanks to the key card and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once.
Okay, I thought I heard a noise, sorry.
The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Wright was wearing his Master Mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter, the victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Body! Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy.
That Master Mask, it wasn't his prints. His testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well.
The witness's earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All his points have been explained and none of them seem to contradict anything.
But of course.
But how did you know about the emergency buzzer?
The police investigation documents went directly through me, and I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, Sir Lawyer.
Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, Sir Lawyer?
I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
We cannot postpone Luke Atmey's trial any longer. This is your last chance.
Hang on a sec, just one chance? It seems that the party's about to begin. Well, Phoenix, there isn't any evidence that contradicts that testimony. So it would seem. What do you mean, so it would seem? Listen, Phoenix, pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it. Oh boy, this is going to be way harder than I thought. Cup number 17, the last cup. It seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial. I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony, and I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it. Remember, you only get one chance.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination.
Alright, so now we have to study this. Okay, so we have to press one of these. So, but which one? Okay, not that one.
That has nothing to do with it. We already discussed that with the other photograph, which has nothing to do with what we're actually talking about. That's wrong. We already figured that out, because he's just trying to blame guilt on him. Only clear that he was there. Okay, he dropped it, so what? You probably stole it from him or something like that. Make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. I just want to look at the buzzer here really quickly. Okay. Did it ring once? Okay. So he's right about that. Didn't have any fingerprints on it, yeah. Victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Wearing his nasty mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. The blackmailer, the victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Therefore, all the others points to that poor boy. Okay, so that's not it. Mistook the color of the jewel. There's no way you can mistake that. Was wearing his nasty mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. So it's got to be one of these last ones. I think it's one of these last three, maybe. So let's just go third, second, last, or sorry, next. We'll go this one, and if that doesn't work, then I've already, yeah. Let's save the game, and if that doesn't work, then we'll come back in and do that again. So let's try it out. Mr. Atmey, about this last remark. You still don't get it, do you, trite? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement. I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godot. What? Mr. Atmey, it seems you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder. How can you say that? Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atmey? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing his Nasty Mask outfit, is that correct? Indeed, that's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof. No, he didn't, he said you. More like your deductions prove that you're a fool. I am sorry, what do you mean? For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty. When exactly did we learn the fact that Ron Delight was dressed as Nasty Mask when he went to the scene of the crime? That was, it was just a few hours ago, back when my sixth cup was looking at me with a cold stare. Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. So it's one of those last three, so I'm glad we picked the right one the first time. That's right, the defendant had yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know this are those who have been watching this trial. Do you understand now, Detective Atmey? There's no way that you should have known about that! You were in the next courtroom being tried as Nasty Mask, so then enlighten us! Just how did you know about this piece of information? Well... Objection! Come on, this detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand. And it's those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his Nasty Mask outfit. There is one and only one way for Detective Atmey to have found that out. Only one? One way, you say? Please remember, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. And that was Luke Atmey. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer. But Mr. Delight never saw him. There's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was Luke Atmey. It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head. Just what are you implying? Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to follow that the real killer had also seen Ron Delight. Impossible. Obviously, yeah, he saw him after he heard him. Shebang! Detective Atmey, you saw Nasty Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kane Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. That was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. Oh, God.
Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was supposed to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown.
That's the same line you gave yesterday.
But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time.
What an awfully complicated incident. Kane Bull was blackmailing Luke Atmey, who was in turn blackmailing Rhonda Light. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atmey tried to frame Rhonda Light. He then claimed to be guilty as Masty Mask in order to escape his true crime. Saving. Not going through that whole process again. Hell no.
And to that end, he came up with this plan, to use the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi.
At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth.
Excuse me.
I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man, besmirching him with the title of murderer.
Don't ignore me! That's right. That's Ryan. That's Ryan. Ron. Wow.
Well, I didn't realize you were there.
Why wouldn't he be? About the verdict.
I know. You never committed any murder.
That's right, I'm so glad you understand that, but I really am Masty Mask!
Huh?
So thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? What was it you said? Double jeopardy?
Now that you mention it,
I've been careless. Careless? What do you think, Mia?
As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. A defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which he was once found innocent.
Then Masty Mask is really innocent.
For now, it would seem so.
For now.
now then, this court finds the defendant
not guilty, and we have defeated the second case to finish Wright 3. That last court part was really hard. Way harder than I expected. Boy, this is really lucky. Wait, that isn't so good after all. You see, the thing is, I still am Masty Mask after all. Yeah, whatever, shut up. Woohoo! You did it, Nick. Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it? She's never called me Nick.
Yeah, it's because Maya doesn't call on me much these days.
Oh?
I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of lost these days.
You mean about becoming the master of the Korean channeling school?
Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother.
You mean Misty Faye?
Watch over her, will you, Phoenix?
Of course.
Well then, see you around.
Mia. Mr. Wright. I don't know what to say. Congratulations, Mr. Delight. Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though, now that all of this has happened.
Come on, just be happy already.
Maya.
You've been cleared of the murder charges and got off his Masty Mask to boot.
But in exchange, I lost everything.
Oh, what do you mean?
Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming Masty Mask. I did it all for one reason, for her. You mean your wife, Desiree? She hates criminals more than anything. Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she? She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure. So that's why you became Masty Mask. Yes, but it's all over now. A broken bowl can never be put back together.
That's not true, right, Nick?
Right. Really? Can we go back to the way things were?
You'll be fine, and Nick can prove it.
I can? I kind of wish you would check with me first. Mr. Delight, even if a bowl is broken, there is always a way to put it back together. And that bowl would be the Sacred Urn, obviously, because it was repaired by Adrian Andrews. The Sacred Urn! Jessie was the one who found this. Desiree, your wife. She's always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything.
There you are.
Mr. White.
You did it, Ronnie. You're innocent. I'm so happy.
Thank you, I appreciate that, but, I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you?
Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you quit KB Security. I never imagined that you were really Masty Mask either.
Mr. Light, what are you going to do now that you know? You're not going to really leave him, are you?
Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's really fast, so that there's no way he could ever get away.
But didn't you say that you hated criminals?
Oh, I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Like that detective.
I see.
My Ronnie wouldn't declare his crimes before he committed them like a man. I just love a man who's so chivalrous. Chivalrous? I knew I was right about you. Every day I spend with you is filled with thrills and excitement.
Desiree, you really do love Ron, don't you?
Nicky boy,
Yes?
I'm really glad I asked you to be my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us.
Oh, well, take care of yourself.
You too, Nicky boy.
I can feel my face going red.
Mr. Nick, Mr. Maya, congratulations.
Talk about bad timing.
Mr. Dick, how could you with another man's wife in front of Mr. Maya?
No. Oh. So just as the case came to a close, so too did my consciousness. Ron said a broken bowl can never be put back together, but I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together even better than before. That looks awesome. Alright! Sweet! That was a fun case. It's really crazy that they give you one chance on that. I got super lucky. Let me know if you guys have ever played this before, if you guys ever had to redo the whole thing all over again. That's why it's a good reason to save. So, Recipe for Turnabout is our next case, which will be coming up, I believe, on Monday. I want to take a break for Mother's Day tomorrow. So, or you know what? Let's actually see the picture for this case. We got Godot on there. We've got the Masty Mask and Luke Atmey on there, and Maya, and the urn, and the court. So, very cool. Recipe for Turnabout. Sounds like we're gonna have a cooking case. So that'll be. I think that'll be pretty sweet. So, all right. So, yeah, Recipe for Turnabout. It could just be a play on words, or it could be a food case. The murder of Mr. Burger. All right. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching case number 2 of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney 3, Trials and Tribulations on the WiiWare service. The next case will be coming up on Monday or sometime this week. And I will see you guys in my next video. Coming soon. Objection!